Welcome everyone to another edition of Making an Impact. I am your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. As you notice, we're still in HD, but we're working on trying to get the graphics going. I've got to make a few things for this new set. So that is in a process, plus we're going to try to get a little more lightened, so forgive my little partner shadow here. But we're going to try to get things more improved on the show. So, Impact Wrestling made its debut at its regular time, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, Friday nights on Destination America. We had the fallout. Why did Eric Young do what he did? Costed Bobby Roode the World Heavyweight Championship, which saw Bobby Lashley become a 2-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Also, we saw Austin Aries for the 5th time become TNA X Division Champion. But tonight, it's a rematch. As former champion, Loki gets his rematch against Austin Aries for the TNA X Division Championship. Also, we have the Hardys versus the Wolves. The winners will become the #1 contenders to the TNA World Tag Team titles, currently held by the Cowboy, James Storm, and Abyss of the Revolution. And also, in a Knockouts Tag Team match, it's the beautiful people, Angelina Love Velvet Sky, taking on the tag team of the TNA Knockouts champion, Taryn Terrell, and the returning Brooke. As you can see, I have on the Brooke Tesmacher t-shirt. And they're still available on TNAshop.com. So you got to get your Brooke t-shirt. So, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get to it. So, let's just get to it. Okay, we started off Impact Wrestling with MVP coming down with his crew of Kenny King, Loki, Samoa Joe, and tagging with them, Eric Young. MVP explains that he surrounds himself by winners and those that have the passion to win aggressively. And that's his explanation why Samoa Joe and Loki has joined his new entourage, which we found out the name of this new stable is the Beatdown Clan, BDC. Eric Young comes down with a whole new look, Mohawk style. The sides are shaved off, the hair is trimmed back, and a new aggressive attitude for Eric Young. Eric Young goes on to explain his reasons for costing Bobby Roode the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, stating that Bobby Roode always treated him like second fiddle. He showed concern when Bobby Roode was in the hospital, but Bobby Roode couldn't show one bit of concern, couldn't check on Eric Young when Eric Young was in the hospital. Also, Eric Young says that he gave Bobby Roode chances at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship when he was TNA champion, but what did Bobby Roode do for him? Did Bobby Roode give him a chance at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Interested to see this new aggressive side of Eric Young. As they all run their mouths, Kurt Angle comes down to the ring and he gets on the mic and tells them that he's going to make all of them tap out, which leads Samoa Joe to get into Kurt Angle's face. And we have a show-off that comes down to, we get a match out of it. Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. So, I mean, like I said, decent opening segment. We got some answers. Why Loki and Samoa Joe became a part of this new stable along with MVP and Kenny King and possibly Bobby Lashley. Another thing I've almost forgot to mention is MVP called Bobby Lashley to the ring, but no Bobby Lashley showed up. That's when Kurt Angle showed up. So what's going on with there? Hopefully we'll find out. So good segment. We got some answers. And now we got a match out of this. So that's a good thing. Okay, we had our first match of the night, Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe went to quick work going after Kurt Angle's injured knee. She had a brace on the knee. Kurt Angle tried to fight back. He was finally able to hit the German suplex on Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe was able to get out of a second attempt. Samoa Joe in the match tried to go for some muscle buster, but Kurt Angle was able to counter it into an angle lock, but Samoa Joe would not tap. As the match progressed, Angle was able to get Samoa Joe into another angle lock, but again, Samoa Joe was able to block it. The match comes to an end when Samoa Joe is able to block a third attempt at the angle lock and sends Kurt Angle into the referee. With the referee down, Samoa Joe hits a low blow on Kurt Angle and then gets Kurt Angle in the rear naked choke to get the win. Interesting match considering that Samoa Joe is now a heel. We're going to see what's going to happen here. Short match, but it was not a bad match. I wish it had went a little longer. Nice thing was there wasn't any interference from the outside of the ring, so that was a good thing. Good competitive match, and that's what I like to see. If TNA can keep doing this type of thing, they're going to be on a good set. It's nice to see Kurt Angle back in the ring. I know a lot of people wanted to see Kurt Angle back in the WWE, but I don't think Kurt Angle could handle the full-time schedule that WWE demands, and they would not give him the kind of deal like Rob Van Dam had and Chris Jericho, where they work part-time, and that's sort of sad. But it's great for us TNA fans because we still have Kurt Angle, and we'll see some great matches. Hopefully we'll see a more lengthier match between Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. Also, it'd be nice to see Kurt Angle versus Loki. That would be an interesting match to see. Also, you got the combination. You could see Kurt Angle versus Kenny King. But again, I like to see another good, solid match between Kurt Angle and MVP. I'm sure we're going to see that match down the road. But nevertheless, you can check this match out if you want. It's not a necessity that you do absolutely check it out. It's not one of those that I recommend that you got to absolutely go and check out. But if you happen to catch a replay or you want to watch it on YouTube, go right ahead. You're not going to be totally disappointed. All right, we had our second match of the night. It was a match that we all been waiting for. The Wolves faces the Hardys with a lot on the line as the winners become the #1 contenders to the TNA World Tag Team titles currently held by the Cowboy James Storm and Abyss of the Revolution. And speaking of the Revolution, the whole crew was in attendance as they set up in the balconies watching the match. And what a match. We're talking these four men put it all out on the line. A lot of great action. I'm going to read a little of the play because it was so much great, and I don't want to leave out some of the tidbits, but there was a nice spot where the Wolves had Matt Hardy in the Tree of Woe, and they hit missile drop kicks on Hardy, and they did it in stereo. It was such a nice move. Also, Jeff Hardy had a nice spot in the match where he had a nice plancha on both of the Wolves before they slide to the outside of the ring. Very competitive, very close pinfalls there. Matt Hardy got a close pinfall after hitting the side effect. It was crazy all over the place. Just to give you a kind of idea of what was going on, and forgive me as a cheat here, but it's just so many great things that was going on. There was a nice double DDT by the Wolves that was on Matt Hardy, and such. But there was just so much great action in this match. It's just, I can't even put it into words how great this match was. But nevertheless, it came to the end. The Hardys was able to get the win and become the #1 contenders after Jeff Hardy hit the Twist of Fate on, I believe, I want to say it was Davey Richards. Jeff Hardy hit the Twist of Fate, followed by a cutter from Matt Hardy. 1, 2, 3. They became the #1 contenders to TNA World Tag Team titles. So down the road, we're going to see a match, the Hardys versus the Cowboy, James Storm, and Abyss for the TNA World Tag Team titles. Where does that leave the Wolves? That's $1 million question. Where does that leave them? That's a good question. But it's a great match, and I have to say that this is a match that I say you definitely have to go and watch. I mean, I'm talking about it, and I just can't give it its full credit because it was such a great match. All four men put forth one hell of effort. The fans in the Manhattan Center were really into this match, and that's what makes it so great, is when the fans are getting really into the match, and there was no interference in the match. That's another great thing about this match. So I highly recommend it. You need to watch this match. I don't care if you watch it on replay, if you watch it on YouTube. This is a match that you must see, and quite possibly, and I know we always say this, and it's a cliche thing to say, but, you know, and of course, we're only in January, and we're like in the middle of the month of January. It's only the second show that TNA has done in 2015, and already we have a top contender for match of the year right here. So, I mean, what TNA, and when I say match of the year, I mean for TNA. So, what can you say? The Hardys are back together. Will the Hardys be TNA World Tag Team Champions? I see it happening. I see them becoming Tag Team Champions, and they will add to their legacy. They will become one of the few tag teams that have held the WWE, WCW, and TNA World Tag Team titles. The other person to have accomplished that feat, tag team, not individuals, tag teams, and that is the Dudleys, Team 3D. Now, just throw out a little trivia here, since we're talking Triple Crown Tag Team Champions. There are a couple that have been Triple Crown Tag Team Champions individually by themselves. Booker T, former WCW, WWE, and TNA World Tag Team Champion. Just throwing that out there to you and such. Just a little tidbit of information. Like I said, this was a great match. You need to watch it. This is a must-see match. And I just don't know what more to say. Okay, we have our third match of the night. Eric Young taking on Bobby Roode. This was a no disqualification match. Anything goes. And this match started off, as you would expect, a full-blown brawl on the outside of the ring. They were throwing each other into guardrails. It spilled over into the crowds. But Eric Young, he got Bobby Roode back into the ring and went for chairs. He got 2 chairs in the ring, and he set 1 chair up in the ring corner. They fought for a little bit, but Bobby Roode was able to come back, and he caught Eric Young in a spine buster, and then set up a chair in the middle of the ring, going for a Roode bomb. However, Eric Young able to rake Bobby Roode's eyes, and then hits the pile driver on Bobby Roode on the steel chair to get the 1, 2, 3. Short match, but it sets up and it tells the storyline of the feud between that we now have between Bobby Roode and Eric Young. It shows the animosity between the two. These are former friends. They started out in Team Canada. They've been tag team partners, and if I'm not mistaken, they've been tag team champions together. I'll double check that fact here in just a minute for you. Also, it's interesting to see. I wish Bobby Roode had had a longer title reign, because you have to remember that he won the title and then he lost it, and really he hadn't defended it in between. So yeah, he technically had a lengthy run, but in reality, he only defended the title one time. I would have liked to see him had a little longer reign on that case. Eric Young, I kind of like this aggressive heel side to him. I think that, you know, a lot of people say that his first heel run was not that great, but I always thought it was okay. But this one, it seems like it's going to be a lot better. You know, MVP says that he is not part of the Beatdown Clan, but he seems to be an ally to him. So it's going to be interesting to see where that's going to go, how long that's going to last, and such. But I like this new attitude of Eric Young. Bobby Roode, I say we have not. I know we have not seen the last of these two, and we will see another match between these two, and this feud's going to continue. So it's going to be interesting to see. If you missed it, it's not a necessity that you got to watch it, because it was a short match, but like I said, that pile driver was devastating, and it's nice to see an aggressive side to Eric Young. So we'll just have to watch in the future. I hope we get another. We'll definitely get another rematch between these two, but I hope it will be a longer match. Okay, we had our third match of the night, knockouts action, as the beautiful people, Angelina Love Velvet Sky, accompanied to the ring by the Bromans, Jesse and Robbie E, tagging along DJ Z. Taking on the tag team of the TNA Knockouts champion, Taryn Terrell, and my girl, Brooke, a.k.a. Brooke Tezmacher. As they got in the ring, of course, the Bromans and the beautiful people just rubbing it in the ring, posing. And DJ Z even pulled out, you guessed it, the selfie stick. The hottest craze out there now. Supposed to help you take a selfie flawlessly. Myself, I'm not much of a selfie guy. Now my cat, he's a selfie guy, but not me. But that's besides a different point. That's a whole different story. So, we had a little pop-up interview with Brooke Tezmacher talking about Robbie E running his mouth, and she went on to proceed to call Robbie E a New Jersey scumbag. And she talked about how she carried Robbie in the Amazing Race, and that it was not for her, they wouldn't have gotten as far as they did. Oh, I love how they like to stretch the truth, you know, sometimes. They were both equally part of the success of how they got further in the Amazing Race. But that's a different story. Hey, we're talking wrestling here. And this is a wrestling angle. So, we had the match, Velvet and actually it was Angelina Love and Brooke who started off the match. Brooke getting in some good offense in the beginning. Now, Brooke has been out of action for quite a while, almost a year. She was originally out with a torn ACL, and then after she recovered from that injury, her and Robbie went and did the Amazing Race. And now she's back and looking as good as ever. Taryn Terrell, oh man, was she freaking phenomenal in this match. She had this one great spot where she came off with a flying splash to the outside of the ring, and she took out the beautiful people and the Bromans. Also, Taryn and Brooke worked together great as a tag team, hitting nice double missile drop kicks on the beautiful people. Brooke gets tagged in by Taryn, and she comes in and starts to work on Velvet. However, Robbie jumps up on the top of the apron, gets in Brooke's face. While Brooke is distracted, this allows Velvet to roll up Brooke to get the 1, 2, 3 The beautiful people are the winners of your match, to the dismay of Taryn Terrell and Brooke. I'm telling you right now, we have not seen the last of Brooke going after Robbie E, which in perpetuity means she's going to be going after Velvet Sky, as Velvet Sky is the on-screen girlfriend of Robbie E. But the bigger news comes after the match, as the beautiful people and the bromans, along with DJ Z, are in the ring posing with another selfie using the selfie stick. The lights go out. You guessed it, when the lights came back on, Awesome Kong in the ring. The beautiful people in the ring by themselves. Bromance left them hanging. Angelina Love tries to clothesline Awesome Kong, but she gets taken down. Velvet tries for the same. She gets taken down. And then Awesome Kong gets her hands on Angelina Love and hits the underhook implant buster. And then DJ Z tries to get in Awesome Kong's face, but he gets a choke slam for his troubles. Oh, it's not over yet. The music hits, and Havok makes a way to the ring. She gets in there, and we have another face-off between Havok and Awesome Kong. Of course, security gets in the ring and holds the two back. 3 security guards are holding Amazing Kong back, and a couple, I believe 3 were holding Havok back. This is the match we want to see. Havok versus Awesome Kong. It's going to be awesome when this match happens. 2 big forces going straight at it. Also, I don't know if you know this, and you may do if you are a kerner of wrestling internet news, but Awesome Kong is officially signed back to TNA. She is now a part of the Knockouts roster. It is confirmed. It's not a one-time deal. She's there to be there for a couple of years. This is going to be awesome. Awesome Kong, one of the bricks to the foundation of the Knockouts division, while Gail Kim was the mother of the Knockouts division, becoming the very first Knockouts champion. Awesome Kong, along with Gail Kim, set the standard for what the Knockouts division was to be. So it's great to have Awesome Kong back. Can't wait until we get the match, Awesome Kong versus Havok. Now, who is going to challenge Taryn Terrell for the TNA Knockouts title? That is the million-dollar question. Of course, you have the beautiful people, Velvet Sky, Angelina Love. Let's not forget Madison Rayne in the mix. Also, Awesome Kong and Havok. And, of course, we have my girl Brooke. So we just have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Great to see Brooke back in the ring. She's one of my favorites. So it's awesome to see her back in the ring. While the match was sort of short for a Knockouts match, the whole point was it's getting to Havok versus Awesome Kong. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. Okay, we had our title rematch tonight. Austin Aries defending the TNA X Division title against the former champion Low-Ki, who was accompanied to the ring by the BDC, the Beatdown Clan, consistent of MVP, Kenny King, and Samoa Joe. Okay, Low-Ki gets to jump on the match. He gets the offense on Austin Aries, just working him over. Austin Aries makes a comeback. He's able to get Low-Ki into the last chancery, but Low-Ki is able to get to the ropes. Low-Ki regains the advantage. He works on Austin Aries with several chops to the chest. Austin Aries tries to make a comeback. He's successfully able to. He gets some chops in, and then he tries for a brain buster, but he's unsuccessful at hitting the brain buster. It allows Low-Ki to drop him on the ropes like a suplex type face planted suplex onto the ropes. Loki again starts working on Austin Aries with several chops to the chest, but Aries comes back with some chops of his own. He hooks the last chancery again on Loki, but MVP jumps on the apron, distracts the referee. The referee does not see Loki tapping out. Austin Aries has had enough of the beatdown clan. He goes for a suicide dive and he takes all 3 members out. He gets back onto the ring apron and he tries to go for a top rope move. However, he gets knocked off the top ropes by Kenny King. This allows Loki to hit the key crusher on Austin Aries. And Loki, once again, is the TNA X Division Champion. This was a very good match. What I don't understand is why did they put the title on Austin Aries only to pull the title off of him the next week? That I have a problem with. Interested to see Loki as the TNA X Division Champion. So who's going to be his next challenger for the title? You know, we haven't seen some X Division wrestlers in the company. We're hoping that that's going to get built up. I know that I believe Homicide is still part of the roster, so that's one X Division contender. There's also Manic. You also got the Great Sonata that you can throw in that mix. But those are both heels, and now that Loki's a heel, who's going to be the face that's going to try to take that title off of Loki? That's the million-dollar question. And where does this leave Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived? I'll have a little information on that toward the end of the show that's going to be quite interesting. But nevertheless, it was a good match. But, you know, like I said, why did they do a title change like this? I don't understand it. But hopefully TNA has some kind of solid plan down the road for the X Division Championship. And we'll just have to wait and see where that is going to go. Okay, after the match where between Austin Aries and Loki, the Beatdown Clan were still in the ring celebrating, and MVP running his mouth talking about how they're taking over and how they are now in the power. The World Heavyweight title belongs to the Beatdown Clan. It belongs to Samoa Joe. It belongs to Loki. It belongs to Kenny King. And it belongs to MVP. That they made Bobby Lashley the TNA World Heavyweight Champion again. Bobby Lashley comes down the ring and he makes it very clear, no. King's not, the title doesn't belong to King, it doesn't belong to Loki, it doesn't belong to Samoa Joe, and it sure in hell doesn't belong to you, MVP, it belongs to me. And I'm not a part of any of this. And MVP's like, no man, you're part of this, you are a part of this. Bobby Lashley makes it very clear. The MVP says, all right, I'm going to let it go. You know, normally, you know, if it was anybody else, I wouldn't let it go. But, you know, you and me, we're close, you know. When we were back in that other company, I was just starting out there. You took me under your wing. You took care of me. We partied and, you know, we rode the roads. So I'm going to let it go. No, you know, let bygones be bygones. No animosity here and such. MVP leans in, gives Bobby Lashley a hug. And then he gives Bobby Lashley the kiss of death, which is a signal, of course you know it happens, a total beatdown. The Beatdown Clan totally decimates Bobby Lashley. MVP stands over Bobby Lashley holding the title and says that this title belongs to him. It belongs to the Beatdown Clan. And the Beatdown Clan leaves with the TNA World Heavyweight title. So, I guess this means Bobby Lashley is officially a face now. He is still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, but MVP has the title. So this possibly means we're going to see a title match down the road. MVP versus Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I want to call it right now. within the next 2 months, MVP will be your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. It will be his first major world title. So I'm calling that right now. Interesting. I think this stable's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Also, you got the association there with the Beatdown Clan and Eric Young, so we're going to have to see where that's going to go. Nevertheless, very interesting angle, and we'll have to see how this face turn works out for Bobby Lashley. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say our superstars of the week are the Wolves and the Hardys. One hell of a match. Like I said, this match is a top contender for TNA Match of the Year. And we're only in the middle of January, so that's a lot to say. A lot of interesting things going on. Next week, it was announced, it is the return of Feast or Fired. I know a lot of wrestling fans complain about this. Oh, it's a ripoff of Money in the Bank. It's totally different. In case you don't know or you've never heard about it, which I'm sure a lot of wrestling fans have, but nevertheless, there is 4 poles on each side of the ring. 12 men are all in the ring. The object of the match is to retrieve a briefcase that is hanging on these poles. There are 4 briefcases. One briefcase holds a guaranteed title shot for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The other holds a TNA World Tag Team title shot. The third briefcase will hold a TNA X Division title shot. Excuse me. However, the fourth case holds a pink slip, which means whoever has that briefcase will be fired. Hence the terms feast or fired. Little tidbits of facts here. The only successful cash-ins on these briefcases have been for the TNA World Tag Team titles and the X Division titles. 3 successful attempts on each have been successful. Nobody has been successful in cashing in their World Heavyweight title shot. So that will be interesting to see. Go ahead and tell you there are a couple of people that have been announced that will be in the Feast or Fired match. 2 of those will be Bram. He has officially announced that he will be in the Feast or Fired match. And Magnus will be in the match. Also, there was a nice little interview with Magnus talking about his career being TNA World Heavyweight Champion, the first British World Heavyweight Champion. And he also talked about a little about his background, his training. He was trained by the Knights. In case you don't know who the Knights are the parents of Paige. So Paige comes from that lineage in the UK. Also, here in the States, Magnus is trained under Harley Race. So Magnus talked about his career, what his goals is. And he also talks about his family. In case you didn't know, Magnus is now a father with his now soon-to-be wife, as they're officially engaged, Mickie James. They had their first son, Donovan. I'm calling it right now. He will probably get in the wrestling business when he grows up. And he could his ring name already got picked out for him, Magnus James. So have to see whether or not he gets in the wrestling business. So it was great to see this little nice interview. The interview was conducted by Mike Tenay. Also, we saw a little more progression with EC3 as he taught Jeremy Borash in the control room, taunting Borash through his IFB. In case you didn't know what an IFB is, this is an earpiece that on-air talent, like your local news anchors and such, wear, and this allows them to hear the control room getting cues and information. So that's what an IFB is for. Basically, EC3 challenged Jeremy Borash to a match, and believe it or not, Jeremy Borash has agreed to it. The prior week on the live Impact Wrestling, Jeremy Borash got a portion of his head shaved. He finished the job up, and now he's all, you know, no hair, but he's like he's told Rockstar Spud, hey, that can grow back. What can I say? This Impact Wrestling was pretty good. If I had to give it a score between 1 and 10, I give it an 8. It was not bad at all. It looks like TNA is on the right track, and hopefully they can stay this way. I'm still a little hesitant about TNA being on Friday nights. I don't think that's a good call. I think they should be on Wednesday nights, but that's just my opinion. However, I do like that we get instant replay after the first showing of Impact Wrestling. So that's nice. Also, I have to say, Destination America really get behind TNA. They're really promoting them. So that's a good thing. And this is something that Spike TV should have done in the first place. But, hey, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know, Spike TV's thing in the past, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I can give a crap less about Spike TV. You know, they got nothing else that I want to watch. So, next week, like I said, we have Feast or Fired. 12-man will be in the ring, and they did have a graphic of some of the people that will be in it. Of course, Magnus, Brown, Austin Aries will be in the match, along with the Wolves will be in the match, that was mentioned, and Robbie E will be in the match. Boy, there. You know, I gained a little new respect for Bobby E from watching The Amazing Race. So, who is going to walk away with those 4 briefcases, and who is going to get the dreaded fired slip? So, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, like I said, you know, shows, we're working on getting the set up, new graphics. It's a work in progress. Also, a few little tidbits, but nevertheless, we are now in HD, so that's a cool thing, and we eliminated the audio issue. So we made some improvements here, and we're in the process of working things out. Okay, it is now time to throw out some shout-outs and some plugs. Don't forget to check out every Tuesday at 7 o'clock on Blog Talk Radio. It's the Nerdport Network presenting the Wrestling Debate. Myself and John P. Mayer, we host the Wrestling Debate. We talk about what's going on in wrestling, WWE, TNA, Pro Wrestling Syndicate. We do it all there, and catch us for that. We have a lot of people calling in. Sean Shark Williams, Hamey, and others, so you got to come and check that out. Also, do not forget, also on Blog Talk Radio, the Nerdport Network presents an independent point of view. It is hosted by John P. Mayer, my good buddy, who has his pulse on the independent wrestling scene, especially up in the Jersey area, and especially Pro Wrestling Syndicate. So you got to check that out also. So that's it for this week's edition of Making an Impact. I have been your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. I'll be back next week, and I'll be here with all the fallout from Impact Wrestling. And who will walk away with the briefcases in the Feast and Fire? I'll have all of that for you next week. So you guys come back, check it out, and thanks for joining us.